Hello everyone, welcome back to a Born Again original. I was wrong about making a sequel to the SoundCloud rappers being my next video. We're going to talk about Amanda Bynes and Dan Schneider, because I feel like by the time I make videos next week, the subject will die down. So what I remember about Amanda Bynes is she had a breakdown into the 2010s. Okay, and I vividly, I cannot find anything on the internet of this. I vividly remember her saying, accusing her mom of being a witch. I vividly remember this. I can't find it anywhere, but I will be searching for it. I couldn't include it in the video for that reason, but I just vividly remember her saying her mom's a witch in a tweet during her breakdown. And I could be wrong, but if I am right, that is very interesting stuff. You know how these parents push their kids into Hollywood, and they're groomed from a young age. They're abused physically and sexually by these directors, but there also is a side they're leaving out, is the occult side. They're leaving out the fact that they're doing dark magic rituals on these children, and they're doing participating in these ancient ceremonies that invoke demonic entities. So we're just gonna talk about that a little bit, and talk about why Amanda Bynes started losing her mind a little bit later on, and then just the dark side of the industry in general. So just one moment here. So this is just from her 2014 breakdown. So she was placed on a psychiatric hold. We don't know what kind of things were going on. We don't know if she was an MK Ultra victim, which a lot of these children were. There's MK Ultra victims, tortured from a young age, used. They're just used in general in pretty much every way. Like, these companies masquerade themselves as, it's basically human trafficking if you really think about it, because they're trying to get the children emancipated from their families and stuff, with the promise of lots of money for their families. Like, these kids are, it's practically human trafficking, that when you think of it. So she was placed on a psychiatric hold. Her dad sexually, physically abused her, verbally abused her, and he put a microchip in her brain. So I don't know if I believe microchip, right? I don't know if I believe that. What I would take that as is maybe that he has control over her, she has control over her mind in a way that she has keywords, that she's an MK Ultra victim. He's able to control her mind by saying certain things to her. And that's what we see with these breakdowns of people that are in their mid-20s, right? Like, she was about 26, I believe, when this happened. Not sure, not entirely sure. But she was about that, and that is around the age that the MK Ultra breakdown, or MK Ultra programming starts to break down. Sorry. Because your brain starts changing, I think. I don't know the complete science about it. But that's when you see, a lot of these people either dying or either losing their mind is getting to the late 20s, early 30s. So, we know Dan Schneider, he's a prolific, he's pretty bad. He's making these children do sexually suggestive things on film. He would pick Amanda Bynes up in the middle of the night and, do whatever he wanted. Her parents actually said that she would sneak out, but I'm not sure that she would sneak out. I feel like that she was allowed to do it because the company that he was working for was giving that family so much money. We'll look at Dan Schneider a little bit. Alright, so here we go. Dan Schneider. We're just going to look over the allegations and stuff. If you want to keep in mind, this is just the elites just cutting off their low-level guys they don't need, that they feel are probably compromised. That's the only reason They're getting exposed because, you know, like, this stuff would have stayed secret if it wasn't by design. They would just throw it out like nothing. The big Dan Schneider is low enough on the totem pole, they're able to let him go and bring his crimes to light. In my opinion, you know?
This is why I'm in Hollywood. Yeah, eat your cereal, kids.
So he says, this is why I'm in Hollywood. Kisses him on the cheek. He's in Hollywood to touch children. Looks like, in my opinion. If the allegations are true, then clearly. And you can see he's very comfortable with these people. That guy looks like he may have been an adult, but still.
This is Dan Schneider, the producer behind hit Nickelodeon shows like The Amanda Show, iCarly, and Zoe 101, to name just a few. The kids' TV show powerhouse was subject to numerous investigations of abuse, sexual misconduct, and inappropriate behavior while overseeing these.
Well, actors and crew members told Insiders they were disturbed by the sexualized scenes in Snyder's scripts, such as goo pop shot on Zoe 101 that mimicked a sex act. Okay. And there's also allegations that he got Jamie Lynn Spears pregnant as well. But we don't know if that's true. But you remember how Jamie Lynn Spears disappeared out of the limelight? That's part of it.
And was finally let go from Nickelodeon in 2018. Now, a two-part docuseries investigating Schneider's alleged abuse, titled Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, is premiering on Investigation Discovery on March 17th.
It was a toxic environment.
It's a house of horrors. I've been waiting 17 years.
Think about the type of stuff that goes on in all the industries like this. There's so many people. Diddy was one of them as well. These people are just handlers to just use the traumas of these children. It seems to me, as power to make the show more popular. You know what I mean? Like, that's why these people who are the most traumatized, like, you know how Drake and Josh came out and said all this stuff about that other guy that they're talking about who, like, sexually abused him. There's multiple handlers, and they're getting power, I think, through abusing these kids and then using their traumas to get the show to be more popular. I think that is how magic works. I think that is how the occult works. Because they're all using demonic entities, and demonic entities attach themselves to trauma. So that's my opinion. I'm open to anybody who may have a different perception. Let me know. We're gonna keep going.
For today.
Schneider, a former child actor, began as a writer on Nickelodeon and...
Oh, so he's a former child actor. That means he was probably groomed as a child too. When you're looking at the entertainment industry, you're going to see people who go from being the handled to the handlers. So they're training these kids, right? Because they're using what they went through to... It's like the exact same as, like, generational pedophiles. You know what I mean? Like, people that were touched as kids and they go on to touch other kids because of they want to feel the same way. They want someone else to feel the way they did as a child, to blame their traumas, right? That's a lot of Hollywood as well. And being a pedophile in Hollywood is not frowned upon.
1993 on the sketch comedy show All That. Eventually, this led to the hit The Amanda Show, which cemented him as a wonder kid for the network, helping push Nickelodeon to a $10 billion a year success.
Hey, look at you! I love your outfit!
As early as 2000, a writer on The Amanda Show was investigated as part of a gender discrimination and hostile workplace claim. Though Schneider was not specifically named, it's heavily intonated this will be explored in Quiet on Set.
Today, my special guest
That was him and Jamie Lynn Spears.
is the executive producer of The Amanda Show, Dan Schneider.
Both Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande complained about a producer on the show Sam and Cat in 2013, and it was determined Schneider contributed to toxicity on set. Finally, Viacom CBS, Nickelodeon's parent company, launched another investigation in late 2017 and early 2018 into Schneider's alleged sexual behavior, but found no evidence of sexual misconduct. However, it was concluded he could be verbally abusive. To some, it felt as if Schneider's behavior was an open secret. Alexa Nicholas, who starred in Zoey 101, began making allegations against Schneider and by proxy Nickelodeon starting in 2018. Nicholas maintains the network knew about Schneider's behavior and did nothing.
I remember Dan Schneider at every single wardrobe fitting for me.
Oh my God.
To the point where he would sit in the chair and I would come out and I would do a spin and then he would look at the wardrobe artist and say, "Can I have the Polaroids?"
As allegations continued,
Yeah, that's some heavy stuff. That's not okay. So now I feel like what's worth it for just the context of the video is to look at Drake, or whatever his name is. I don't even know his name. The guy from Drake and Josh. Looking at him, I know he was also, he fled to Mexico because he was a predator himself. So that's what I mean. It goes down the trail. There's people that are touched as kids and then they keep going in the industry just because of that. Now I don't it's kind of weird that he's making allegations against the directors because he himself literally fled the country of America to go to Mexico to avoid certain prosecutions, right? So that's what we're going to look at. So here we go, Drake Bell talking about the abuse when he was 15.
It was a child actor.
On one of our shows.
Yes.
Drake Bell speaks out about the sexual abuse he suffered at the age of 15. The former Nickelodeon star appears in the new documentary Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV, which investigates the experiences of former child stars who worked on Nickelodeon shows produced by Dan Schneider. According to Today.com, Drake tells his story for the first time publicly, reportedly revealing he was the unnamed minor in the 2004 sexual assault conviction of acting coach Brian Peck. The former child star reportedly says in the film that the coach abused him over the course of months at his home, allegedly turning Drake against his father, who had become suspicious of Peck, and ultimately his mother and stepfather. According to Today, Drake says his separation from his family meant he often spent the night at Peck's home. The Drake and Josh alum reportedly says that one morning, quote, "I woke up and he was sexually assaulting me, and I froze and was in complete shock and had no idea what to do or how to react." He says he later revealed the abuse to his mother, who called police. According to court records viewed by E! News, the acting coach, now 63, was convicted of 2 charges that included lewd act upon a child 14 or 15 by a person 10 years or older, and oral...
Oh wow, so this guy actually got convicted. So to end this video off, I'm going to just show a skit that kind of proves that guy was a kind of a weird homo, you know what I'm saying? Like just an odd guy. Alright, here we go.
This man, Brian Peck, worked at Nickelodeon. He was convicted of raping a child on the set. And a year later, he was hired by Disney to work on the show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. In 2012, he was hired by his longtime friend, Charlie Sheen, to...
See, they stick together, and Charlie Sheen he had allegations against him we're not going to talk about right now.
Work alongside him on the show, Anger Management.
When we were growing up, it's no secret that producer's sleeping with his actress or that, or watch out for that guy, he likes little boys.
He told me Charlie bent me over in between 2 trailers and raped me. In broad daylight, anybody could have walked by, anybody could have seen it.
It's difficult for a sex offender to get a job at Walmart, much less Disney.
So that's not the clip I was looking for, but fair enough, he gave us information that we needed. So anyway, can't find the clip I was looking for personally. It was like a little skit of like that guy, they're just talking about that Brian Peck guy feeding Jerry Seinfeld a pickle through a hole, which, you know, that's has sexual connotations. Here we go. This is just a disturbing connection. So we know who this guy is. He's a murderer who also used to rape children, and he was gay. So figure it out.
14. I didn't know, like, the details, but I knew, like, this guy's a serial killer who, like, killed a lot of young men and boys. My instinct was, like, everyone has to see this. And so, like, all the parents and the kids come into the room, and then Brian presents the painting again. And Brian actually developed a pen pal relationship with John.
That is insane. So these people are in a cult, man. It's all one cult. There's no other way there could be these connections, okay? Pedophile, murderer, kid children. Aleister Crowley did the same thing, okay? John Wayne Gacy, I'm more than sure was just a patsy for an actual cult that was murdering people ritually. Because there's a lot of murders. Like, there's way too much going on for it to be one guy.
Kept, like, this pile of letters and photos from John Wayne Gacy in his nightstand next to his bed. And he, like, pulls them out and starts showing them to me. Your instinct is to give someone the benefit of the doubt.
So, sorry for the weird cut in that. My wife called me and, like, popped up on my phone, so her number came up on the thing, and I'm not really into posting that on the internet. So, we're just gonna go to the end of this.
Even in the face of, like, this really bad sign, it was one of those, like, classic failures of group psychology. At this point,
So yeah, no, there's a connection between John Wayne Gacy and that pedophile. So there's just no denying the just connection between these people. They're all under the same belief system of do as thou wilt. Okay, so with that being said, I think that I'm going to end off there because, you know, there's not much else to say. We understand that, you know, these people are brainwashing children. They're getting these children emancipated or separated from their families in order to make them victims. And because these children are growing up inside of the cult and they don't have actual people to look after them, they end up really messed up. And later on in life, it destroys them mentally because they're basically sold off by their real families. Because their families are either involved in Freemasonry and all this. You understand that, like, if you've seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut, at the end of that movie, after they do the ritual at the house, their little girl goes off with one of the executives that was doing rituals, right? And they don't say anything about that. So we have to understand that that's just how Satanism operates. They don't care, right? They don't view children as children. They don't view maturity or age as a factor. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you guys very much, and, you know, don't focus so much on the dark side of things. Remember that if you're a Christian, that these things are very real, but there's no point in letting it bother you too much in your day-to-day life, because you can't do anything about it, really. You can pray for these people, but what you should really focus on, rather than this information, is loving your neighbor and being a good person to the people around you, not just for yourself, but for Jesus, and to live in the spirit of Jesus, to love someone else as you love yourself. Like, treat others how you would like to be treated. That's my message with all this darkness that I expose in this channel is remember to love your neighbor, and that this stuff is only temporary, and we're going to come to a point where we forget about our time on earth in this aspect. We're going to be so overjoyed with the fact that we are with Jesus that this won't matter. So just focus on spreading love. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's all. Have a good one. Bye for now.